also, I don't know how much longer Cathy has her job. Regardless of if you think the things that Cathy said are okay or not, in any business, have you ever seen someone be under fire so much as Cathy is and just keep their job? There's no way. It's also the timing just, I guess, couldn't be better or worse, however you.
The WNBA is facing a crisis so massive it could shatter the league's foundation. Reports are leaking of a full-blown meltdown in the commissioner's office, all because its biggest star, Caitlin Clark, dropped a hint that she might just walk away. Not for another team, but for another sport entirely. The idea of the league's golden ticket trading her basketball for a set of golf clubs has sent Commissioner Cathy Engelbert into a panic. Is this just a wild rumor, or is the WNBA's worst fear about to become a shocking reality?
That Caitlin should be grateful for the money that she makes off the court. If Cathy truly feels that Caitlin should be grateful for her and grateful for the WNBA for her off-season league money, which, by the way, Caitlin had a lot of endorsement deals before she even came to the WNBA. If that is how she feels about Caitlin and it's not the reverse, not Cathy being grateful for Caitlin, that is so eye-opening.
The chaos brewing inside the WNBA headquarters is said to be off the charts. Insiders describe a tense atmosphere where executives are walking on eggshells, all led by a visibly nervous Cathy Engelbert. The source of this anxiety is the rumor linking Caitlin Clark to the LPGA. This isn't just about losing a player, it's about losing the one person who single-handedly resurrected the league's ticket sales, viewership, and cultural relevance. The woman who became the face of women's basketball is now being pictured on the fairway, and the WNBA is terrified of what that image represents.
I wanted to come say hi and introduce myself. I play out here on tour. I'm Maria. Thank you for being out here. It's very cool what you're doing for sports, kicking ass on and off the field. But now,
and here's the Caitlin Clark effect, Morgan, with Maria Fossey and other players out here following.
That's good. A lot of fun. Made it easy. Annika, could I steal you for a second? I don't think I'll have like bigger. I can't say bad stuff on TV, but once together. We're doing a fun like quickie on that side. There we go. Yeah. I'm next. Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Hi, Caitlin Ewing. Nice to meet you.
I said the buzz from the players
over here, so I'm distracting you.
For
No, y'all are trying to get
has
finished.
been huge.
Somebody take this picture.
By the way, Allie, an outstanding point guard in her own right in Fulton, Mississippi. All-state.
Thanks for being here. Yeah. Good luck.
And for anyone thinking this is just off-season chatter, think again. Caitlin's connection to golf isn't new, it's deep. She's been a celebrated guest at Pro-Am events, sharing the course with golf legends like Nelly Korda. The LPGA has rolled out the red carpet for her time and time again, even extending a fresh invitation for another tournament this fall. Every time she steps onto a golf course, the cameras follow, the crowds multiply, and the smiles on the faces of LPGA executives get wider. It's a stark reminder that she is a superstar in any arena she chooses, a fact the WNBA seems to have forgotten. Now compare that glowing reception to the dumpster fire burning in the WNBA. The league is drowning in officiating controversies, its players are openly unhappy, and its commissioner has become infamous for her inability to read the room. It's a toxic environment, plagued by inconsistent leadership and a bizarre resistance to its own success. So when whispers started that Caitlin Clark might be searching for a new playground, it didn't just sound possible, it sounded logical, and what happened next only added fuel to the fire.
Thank you. Caitlin Clark brought her golf game to the LPGA Tour today, playing in a Pro-Am that attracted a bigger crowd than the tour often gets. Clark played at the back nine at Pelican Golf Club with
Let's be brutally honest, Caitlin Clark doesn't need the WNBA anymore. The WNBA is entirely dependent on her. She is the reason arenas are selling out, why jerseys are flying off the shelves, and why major sponsors are finally returning the league's calls. Yet, under Cathy Engelbert's leadership, the league has treated its greatest asset like a public relations problem. Instead of celebrating her arrival, they seemed more concerned with managing her spotlight, and that catastrophic mistake is now coming back to haunt them in the worst way imaginable. From her very first game, Caitlin's treatment on the court became a national scandal. The relentless hard fouls, the non-calls from officials, and the commissioner's baffling everything is fine attitude sent a clear message. Engelbert dismissed it as just physical basketball, but fans and analysts saw it for exactly what it was, a targeted campaign against the league's biggest star, allowed to happen under the silent watch of the officials. The contrast was horrifying. While the golf world treated her like a queen, her own league allowed her to be treated like a punching bag. This wasn't just physical play, it was a betrayal.
Cathy Engelbert needs to resign. I am disheartened about how Nafisha characterized our conversation at league leadership. That's all you've got? You gotta go. That's a weak-ass response. I'm gonna say it one more time. That's a weak-ass response. You are the commissioner of the league. This young lady, Nafisha Collier, who's been runner-up for MVP twice, who's clearly a face and a star in the league, who's universally respected, called you out. She said, you're dismissive. She talked about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and how your comments were that they were lucky to be in the league. They should be grateful for the money that they're getting. They should be on their knees thanking the... What? What? And that's the response that you give? What kind of defense is that? Was she lying? Cathy Engelbert, did you say that about Caitlin Clark or did you not? Did you say that about Angel Reese or did you not? Did you act that way towards Nafisha Collier or did you not? When you somebody that really has power to flex, folks don't talk about you that way on platforms like that. They might say it privately. Hell, they might say it to your face privately. They don't say it publicly because that would be you know what. She didn't care. And I have not heard one single WNBA player come speak to the defense of Cathy Engelbert. She has to go. You can't be representing the players. They don't respect her, and they don't feel respected by her. We reached out and offered her an invitation to come and explain herself and explain if she really, really wanted to comment. And if so, why hasn't she commented more forcefully already? We said we heard she was not available because she's doing the NBA Finals. I'm sorry, I didn't know she was covering it. I didn't know she didn't have time to get on the phone for 10 minutes and have a conversation. My bad. That's her decision.
But the hostility wasn't just coming from opponents, it was festering within the league itself, creating a locker room cold war. A narrative quickly formed that veteran players were resentful of Clark's instant fame, with some media personalities framing the on-court aggression as a form of hazing. Instead of stepping in to protect its new star and quell the divisive chatter, the league and its leadership did nothing. This silence was interpreted as tacit approval, allowing the toxic narrative to grow. It created an environment where Clark wasn't just battling other teams, she was battling the perception that her own league's players were actively rooting against her. This is why the panic in the WNBA offices is so real. The league is on the brink. Cathy Engelbert knows that losing Caitlin Clark would be a catastrophic, career-ending failure. It wouldn't just be a bad headline, it would be the event that sends the league spiraling back into obscurity. The WNBA's ratings would plummet overnight. This nightmare is unfolding at the worst possible time, with contentious CBA negotiations in shambles, team owners growing furious with leadership, and players losing faith in the system. Adding Clark's potential exit to that toxic mix would create an explosion the league could never recover from. At the center of this storm is Cathy Engelbert, whose leadership has been given a failing grade by the public. She's been publicly called out for being tone-deaf, condescending, and completely out of touch with the very players and fans she's supposed to be leading. Her responses to major controversies have been slow, defensive, and often dismissive, making her appear more like a corporate suit protecting a brand than a commissioner protecting her players. Now, the rumors of Clark's golf aspirations are spreading like wildfire, and fans aren't buying the league's weak attempts to downplay it. They've connected the dots between the on-court abuse and the commissioner's inaction.
Flying off the racks. Caitlin was signing a few autographs. I mean, she's a larger-than-life figure, and there she is.
And this wasn't happening in a vacuum. The The media turned its megaphone on the WNBA, and the sound was deafening. Sports titans like Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee dedicated entire segments to blasting the league's handling of Clark, calling the lack of protection disgraceful and an embarrassment. This wasn't just sports talk, it was a mainstream indictment of Engelbert's leadership. The controversy reached a fever pitch, with every hard foul replayed on a loop, turning the WNBA's internal problem into a national spectacle of incompetence. The power of a single picture became Engelbert's worst nightmare. Social media was flooded with side-by-side images. On one side, a smiling, relaxed Caitlin Clark sinking a putt on a beautiful golf course, surrounded by cheering fans. On the other, a frustrated, exhausted Clark getting shoved to the floor on a basketball court while officials looked the other way. You can almost picture the commissioner scrolling through her phone, seeing Caitlin Clark LPGA trending and feeling the walls close in. The visual narrative was brutal and undeniable, and it told a story of a star finding joy everywhere except in the league that was supposed to be her home. This entire crisis is a self-inflicted wound, a mess of the WNBA's own making. The league begged for a mainstream superstar for years, praying for a figure who could transcend the sport and bring in new fans. They finally got one in Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-generation talent, and what did they do? Instead of building the entire future of the league around her, they alienated her. It's like striking gold and then complaining that it's too shiny. This colossal misstep has left the door wide open for a rival league to swoop in. And that brings us to the billion-dollar gamble. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a financial reality. Her games have shattered viewership records, with some broadcasts pulling in numbers triple or quadruple the league average. Ticket prices have skyrocketed, and merchandise sales have exploded. More importantly, the league is on the verge of negotiating a new media rights deal, a deal that was expected to be worth billions precisely because of Clark's presence. If she leaves, or if the perception is that she might leave, that negotiating power evaporates. Billions of dollars are on the line, all hanging on the happiness of one player the league has failed to protect. The Predators are watching this disaster unfold with a smile. The LPGA sees a beloved, globally recognized athlete with a massive fan base and a genuine passion for their sport. They see an opportunity of a lifetime, and you know who else sees it? Sponsor, a brand like Gainbridge, which already has deep ties to both the WNBA and LPGA, would have no problem shifting its focus to support Caitlin's transition. Why wouldn't they? She guarantees millions of views and sold-out venues. She could make a random golf tournament a viral event overnight. This situation echoes the ghost of Michael Jordan. When the biggest sports star on the planet walked away from basketball in his prime to pursue baseball, it sent shockwaves through the NBA. The league survived, but the financial and cultural void was immense. The WNBA, however, is not the NBA of the 90s. It doesn't have the same deep-rooted stability. Losing its one true mainstream star at the peak of her popularity wouldn't just be a setback, it would be a potential death blow to the league's recent growth and future ambition. The historical precedent is terrifying. And the pressure isn't just coming from the public. Behind the scenes, the NBA's silent judgment looms large. Commissioner Adam Silver has publicly championed the WNBA's growth, but he is also a businessman who oversees the parent league. The constant stream of negative headlines and leadership failures reflects poorly on the entire basketball ecosystem. You can be sure that tense phone calls are being made, with the NBA quietly expressing its frustration. Engelbert isn't just accountable to the fans, she's accountable to the powers that be in the NBA, and their patience is undoubtedly wearing thin. Ultimately, the power dynamic has completely flipped. The commissioner is no longer in control. She is playing defense against her own star player, who doesn't even have to say a word. All Caitlin has to do is smile for a picture at a Pro-Am, and it sends the WNBA into another emergency meeting. For years, players were told to be grateful for the platform. Now the platform is praying its biggest player doesn't decide to leave. The truth has finally been exposed. The WNBA needed Caitlin Clark infinitely more than she ever needed them. And Cathy Engelbert is finally facing the consequences of forgetting that. The question now is whether she can fix this mess before it's too late.